Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kaplan Center for Alumni Appreciation Day. It is a balmy 13 degrees outside. Thankfully for everyone involved, it is much warmer in here. This afternoon's contest is a Skyline Conference showdown between the home side, your Mount St. Mary Knights, and the visiting Golden Eagles of St. Joseph's, Long Island. Mount St. Mary comes into this one still searching for their first conference win. They're currently 0-7, last in the Gold Division. As for the Golden Eagles, they sit at 4-3, tied for third place in the Black Division. But they are a game back of Maritime. As the Golden Eagles win the tip-off, the ball will go to Tayshawn Hawkins. Hawkins will swing it along the wing, got it to Jaden Gaston. Rivera backs off. Gaston forced to pick up his dribble, got it inside. Working with underneath Kenny Rodriguez. Rodriguez takes a fall, wanted a foul, won't get it. Swung up ahead by Matthew Walsh. Brendan Graham right there for the first 2 points of this afternoon's contest. Nicely done from the home team to turn some defense and offense. Mount St. Mary off to an early lead. The Golden Eagles look to lick their wounds and recover a little bit. Hawkins forced to swing it back across the court. Got it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez got it to Kabelka back up top. Long three-pointer for Hawkins. That one short off the front rim, brought out of the air by J.P. Egan. Ball goes to Graham, who swings it to Rivera. Rivera pushes it up ahead. Mount St. Mary now waits for numbers. The ball goes underneath to Connor Gemmel. Gemmel has a little bit of trouble with the pass. Can't quite corral it. This one will be out of play along the far sideline. Last touched by Gemmel. And so now, it is an inbound play. It'll be Kenny Rodriguez doing the inbounding for the Golden Eagles. Coach Kadlubowski has his guys in a full court press. The Golden Eagles had all 5 guys on this side of the court. The inbound goes to Gaston. Now back up top for Hawkins, back up top for Gaston. Gaston, another long three-pointer, lines that one up. It rims in and out. Getting a hands on it is A.J. Esposito. He couldn't quite bring that one down. Rivera tucks it in for the home side. Ball goes up ahead to Graham. Back across the floor for Rivera. Using his left, cuts inside. Egan at the top of the key. Good look on the three for Graham. That one won't go. Rebound, Kabelka. Kabelka thought about passing it. Now brings the ball up. Waiting for him is Matthew Walsh. He'll swing it off to his left. Got it to Hawkins. Hawkins now for Gaston. Gaston in the corner for Kabelka. Gemmel there for the Knights. Back up top. It goes to Gaston. Guarded by Walsh. Finds its way to Hawkins. Hawkins back to Gaston. Walsh closes out. Now Gaston finds his way into the paint. The floater won't go. A little too strong off the back iron. Rebounded by Rodriguez. Rodriguez and Gemmel going at it. Still no whistle. Somehow a jump ball was not called there. Another steal for Mount St. Mary is Justin Rivera. Can't quite corral that one on transition. This one will go out of play, so a fast start on defense for Mount St. Mary. A couple of steals. The lead still only 2-0. Kenny Rodriguez on the sideline closest to the bleachers on the far side of your screen. Ball goes to him. The inbound goes in play. It's Jaden Gaston. Now back to Tayshawn Hawkins. Justin Rivera right there on defense. Hawkins forced to pick up his dribble. He'll kick it to the wing. Right there is Kabelka. Walsh on defense for Mount St. Mary. Now it's Gaston. Swung back across the floor. Hawkins fires the three. Rivera there for Mount St. Mary. It rims in and out, getting a hand on it again is Esposito, but Mount St. Mary comes down with it. Ball goes up ahead for Walsh. Walsh will go right at Hawkins. That one got over Esposito. Maybe Esposito got a hand on it. Grabs the rebound on a shot he may have blocked. And now it is Kenny Rodriguez, the ball carrier for St. Joseph's, Long Island. He'll leave it now into the corner. Got it to Hawkins. Gemmel there on the closeout. Hawkins leaves his feet, passes it to Esposito. Esposito across the floor for Kabelka. Back up top for Gaston. Gaston dribbles with his right, got it back to Hawkins, now goes underneath for Esposito. Right there is Rodriguez. Bounces off Egan, kicks the ball back outside the three-point line. Hawkins kicks to Esposito with 5 on the shot clock. The mid-range jump shot off the back iron and in. So there's the first basket of the game for the Golden Eagles as A.J. Esposito hits the mid-range jump shot from right around the free throw line. And Coach A.J. Uhl will take an early timeout with 17:23 left to go in this first half. Coach Uhl maybe just didn't like what he saw out of his guys. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with your score at 2 apiece, we will take a brief step aside. So the buzzer sounds. Welcome back to the Kaplan Center. Coming off of the timeout, taken by Coach A.J. Uhl on the St. Joseph's Long Island bench. And ladies and gentlemen, just during that break, he did not sound happy. He was yelling at his guys on the bench, stressing that the Golden Eagles need to get the ball inside. Through 2.5 minutes, getting the ball underneath has been a bit of a struggle, but we are only 2.5 minutes into the game. The Knights and the Golden Eagles still only tied at 2 apiece, one made field goal from either side. As Brendan Graham crosses over, full court pass across with his right, got it to Rivera. Rivera kicks it into the corner for Walsh. Walsh takes a jab step, now dribbles inside, kicks it towards the wing, got it to Rivera, who caught it off a deflection. Rivera gives it back up to the top of the key. Gemmel will try a three-pointer, and he got it. Connor Gemmel from downtown. Mount St. Mary goes up 3. Gaston pushes it up ahead for Hawkins. Gemmel there on the help defense. Ball goes into the corner. Kabelka looking to match, you bet. The Golden Eagles waste no time. Eric Kabelka with a three-pointer of his own, and we're all tied up at 5. Justin Rivera guard in the half-court set by Rodriguez. Setting a screen is Rob Geramino, fresh into the contest from Mount St. Mary. Matt Walsh will look to continue the three-point party going. That one won't go off the back iron. The long rebound corralled by Gaston. Gaston running the floor, now stops, got it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez works inside with his right. Right underneath is Esposito. The ball fake did not fool the referee. Travel immediately called. As Liam Lynch comes into the game for the home side for the first time this afternoon, he comes on in place of Brendan Graham. Rivera on the bounce pass, got it to Lynch. Your score 5-5, 16:25 to go here in this first half. Walsh working on Gaston, Lynch working on Gaston, setting a screen there was Gemmel. Geramino got the ball top of the key on the ground using his right. Kicks it to the opposite wing, right there is Walsh. He's forced to pick up his dribble, gives it back outside. Mid-range jump shot, Justin Rivera got it to go. Mount St. Mary looks good early on offense. The inbound now goes to Gaston. Gaston across the floor now for Hawkins. Hawkins back to Gaston. Rivera picks him up. On the ground using his right, coming towards the bottom of your screen. Now Hawkins got it to Kabelka. Kabelka into the corner. It's Gaston again. Back up top for Kabelka. Shot fake. Got Walsh to jump. Now kicks it back towards the wing. Good look for 3. Rims in and out. Lynch had the rebound. Loses it. Now comes down with it for real. Now is double teamed by Hawkins and Rodriguez both. Nicely done from Lynch to get rid of it. Now he got it to Geramino, who gets it to Justin Rivera. Rivera operating with his right, kicks it back up top for Geramino. Geramino forced to pick up his dribble and a travel of his own. Geramino didn't think he traveled. Coach Kadlubowski just gives him the nod. And so it is a turnover for Mount St. Mary. And so the referee apparently laying down the law in terms of having your jersey tucked in, which is, I think, in the fine print of every rule book, but I have never really seen it enforced other than the time Chris Paul full-on snitched on somebody in an NBA game, which was hilarious. Now it's Tayshaun Hawkins, got it to Kabelka. Kabelka now for Gaston in the wing, back up top. Kabelka, another three-pointer, it's good! Eric Kabelka, his second three-pointer of the contest. Kabelka this season averaging just over 2.7 points a game. He's already at 6. Now Walsh back up top, got it to Geramino with 20 on the shot clock. Steps back outside the three-point line, got it to Marziotti, who got it to Lynch. Lynch works inside, uses his left, sees an opening, gets it to go. Nicely done there. Liam Lynch cuts inside. A big basket there for the home side. Now Hawkins past half court. Matthew Walsh right there on defense. Good job not fouling. Marziotti on the steal, tried to get it to Walsh. That pass taken right away by Kenny Rodriguez into the corner. Hawkins, a three-pointer, it's good. St. Joseph's Long Island continues to just look good from beyond the arc. 3 of 7 so far. Coach Kadlubowski takes his first time out of the contest. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with 14:35 here to go in this first half, your score, St. Joseph's Long Island 11, Mount St. Mary 9, and we will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I am Lucas Stackpole welcoming you back to the Kaplan Center, fresh off of the timeout. If you're just now joining us, this midday Skyline Conference action has St. Joseph's Long Island leading the home team at Mount St. Mary by a score of 11-9. Egan on the bounce pass, got it to Liam Lynch. Lynch guarded by Matthew Maxwell, part of the first substitutions against the Golden Eagles. Lynch goes up and under. A beautiful move there from Liam Lynch. He's made a couple of tough baskets right in the paint. So Lynch continuing to earn his keep. Mount St. Mary pulls even. The ball goes up ahead for Maxwell. Maxwell bounce pass for Esposito. That pass a little behind him. Rodriguez gets it around the top of the key. Now cuts inside, rejected by Jeremino. But it will go out of play. Last touched by Jeremino. So some nifty defensive work. Matthew Monaco also into the game for Mount St. Mary. Now fresh on for the Golden Eagles is Anthony Todd. Kenny Rodriguez on the inbound, got it up top to Maxwell into the corner. It's Hawkins, fires a three. That one rims in and out, rebounded by Marziotti. The Golden Eagles have looked good shooting the ball so far. 3 of 8 from beyond the arc to start tonight's contest. 3 of 4 made field goals for the Golden Eagles have been three-pointers. Jeremino swings it into the corner, got it to Liam Lynch. Lynch tried to get it to Monaco. Couldn't get it to go. This one will go out of play, but it will stick with the home side. So now it is Egan on the inbound. He'll get it to Lynch. Lynch guarded by Matthew Maxwell. Lynch using his left, kicks it back outside the three-point line. Marziotti to Monaco. Ball goes to Egan all the way around the horn. Fires for 3. That one won't go. Bounced off the pole up over the backboard, but the referee is at no whistle. Now it's Rodriguez, kicks it for Kabelka. Catch and shoot three-pointer. That one won't go. Kabelka 2 for 2 up before that shot. The Candyman, Anthony Todd, can't get it to go. And so now it'll be Tony Todd shooting 2. So Anthony Todd taking the first free throws of the contest for either side, the 6'4" senior from Westbury, New York. Has appeared in all but one game this season for Coach Uhl's Golden Eagles squad, averaging a respectable 6.3 points a contest. This across all 17 games the Golden Eagles have played this season. The buzzer sounds. We have a substitution for the home side. Caleb Eller makes an appearance for the first time tonight. So now Todd looking to go 100% from the free throw line, knocks them both down. The Golden Eagles go back up 2. Egan on the inbound to Lynch. Matthew Maxwell guarding Lynch in the half-court set. Now past the half-court line. Setting a screen is Monaco. Monaco bounces right back off it. Lynch cuts inside, now kicks into the corner. Right there is Eller. Eller bounces back outside the three-point line. Jeremino a shot fake. Hawkins right there. Jeremino now cuts inside, falling away. Can't get it to go high off the glass. Rebound by Todd. Now it's Maxwell, stops, waits for numbers, picks up his dribble, kicks it back outside the three-point line for Hawkins. Now to Todd, right at the elbow, right underneath is Rodriguez. Eller and Jeremino both there on defense for Mount St. Mary. A whistle and a foul. I believe this one will go against Jeremino. I was wrong. The foul officially against Eller. Both parties were in the area. So Kenny Rodriguez set to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Rodriguez has started and played in all 17 games this season, currently the team leader in points per game, sitting at 14.9. And he'll look to give his guys a little bit of breathing room. If he makes them both, the Golden Eagles go up 2 possessions. The first one is good. As Soren Holmbo comes in for the first time tonight, Connor Gemmel and Brendan Graham return to the contest. Coach Kadlubowski straying from his usual line change type substitutions. We've seen Kadlubowski make subs of 4 or 5 guys at a time. So now Rodriguez to put his guys up 4. Got it. So the Golden Eagles 4 for 4 from the free throw line tonight. They currently lead this one 15-11. Brandon Graham, guarded tightly by Matthew Maxwell, leaves it with Egan, who leaves it with Gemmel. Gemmel at the top of the key, on the ground, using his right, leaves it to Brendan Graham, who gives it to JP Egan. Egan all the way across the floor. Eller in the corner for 3. That one a little too long. Getting a hand on it is Egan. He came down with it. But with a foot on the baseline, the Golden Eagles will take over. Making an appearance for the visitors for the first time tonight, number 5, Corey Somerville, 6-foot sophomore from Baldwin, New York. The ball goes up ahead to Maxwell. Egan right there. He swings it across the floor for Somerville, fresh into the contest. Eller there on defense from Mount St. Mary. Ball goes back to Maxwell, who kicks it further into the corner. Got it to Hawkins. Graham and Gemmel both in the vicinity. Ball goes to Todd, who tried to fit it underneath to Rodriguez, as there's a whistle and a foul on J.P. Egan. So the third foul of the half for Mount St. Mary, 12-20 to play. So now we have a whistle. Inbound soon to come from Maxwell. Looks for anybody. Got it to Kenny Rodriguez. Right there on defense is Connor Gemmel. Rodriguez takes a couple of pound dribbles, works into the paint, fading away, and Gemmel got a hand on it and now is whistled for a foul. Rodriguez did end up hitting the deck, but it did look like Gemmel got all ball. Coach Kadlubowski was not pleased on the sideline, but does not challenge. And so my best guess is that Gemmel maybe impeded the landing zone of Rodriguez as he shoots his third free throw of the contest. That one goes. And so again, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I say this every game, but officials across all sports, they're not always right, but they unfortunately are never wrong. So Rodriguez looking to extend his perfect streak to 4 for 4. He's got it, as A.J. Esposito checks back in for the visiting side. Kenny Rodriguez will come off for the first time tonight. Maxwell, Somerville, and Hawkins all on the Mount St. Mary side of the court. Egan inbounds it to Graham. Maxwell right there. Graham has Egan. Now all Golden Eagle defenders fall off. Graham past half court. Got it to Gemmel, who has it at the top of the key. Swings it towards the wing. Got it to Eller. Ball goes back to Gemmel. Now towards the opposite wing for J.P. Egan. Egan does a dance around the three-point line. Gives it to Holmbo. Fires away from the top of the key. That one's short off the front rim. Somerville, a leaping effort. He'll bring that one down. Kicks it up ahead for Tayshawn Hawkins. Now back for Somerville. Somerville underneath for Todd. Right there's Esposito. Gemmel got a hand on it. That one was all ball. Esposito got it back, missed a second layup, and Mount St. Mary some excellent interior defense. Eller's pass up ahead, got it to Holmbo. Ball goes back to Eller, guarded by Maxwell. Eller wants a screen. Holmbo comes up top and sets one. Ball goes to Gemmel. Ball goes to Graham, now left with J.P. Egan. Egan dancing around the perimeter. Steps outside the three-point line, fires away. That one won't go. Holmbo got hands on it, now comes away with the rebound. Right there is Anthony Todd. Now ball goes up top to Eller. Now for Graham, getting Somerville to jump. 15 on the shot clock for Mount St. Mary. Graham guarded tightly by Somerville, got it to Holmbo. Holmbo will leave it for Eller. Eller now dances inside the floater. That one left short off the front rim. And finally, the possession ends with an Anthony Todd rebound. Todd will leave it for Somerville. Mount St. Mary, an excellent job moving around on offense, just unfortunately no points to show for it. Hawkins, a good look for three. That one won't go. A leaping effort from Maxwell to get a hand on it, tipped to the right guy. Now it's Anthony Todd from around the elbow. Right underneath for Esposito, can't get it to go. So Anthony Esposito, despite being 6'7", matched up against Connor Gemmel, who is also 6'7". Esposito has a little bit of trouble finishing right underneath. A high arcing jump shot from Caleb Eller. That one misses everything. And it will go out of play. And so your score now, St. Joseph's Long Island is 17, Mount St. Mary 11. Despite the 6-point lead, the last couple of points for the Golden Eagles have come at the free throw line. Mount St. Mary's defense has actually been pretty good so far this afternoon. Unfortunately for them, so has St. Joseph's Long Island. Now the ball goes up ahead for Somerville, kicked back up top for Maxwell. Maxwell cuts right inside, stops around the free throw line, leaves it with Todd. Todd guarded by Graham, works it down low for Esposito, kicks it back up top for Somerville. He fires a three. That one won't go. Brought out of the air by Matthew Walsh. So the Golden Eagles have cooled off considerably from three, and they're now shooting just 3 for 11 from beyond the arc. Rivera fires away for the home side. That one's short off the front rim. Somerville brings it down, kicks it up ahead for Maxwell. The Golden Eagles now working in transition. Stops it around the elbow, kicks it back outside the three-point line for Somerville. He has trouble with it. Back for Esposito around the free throw line. Now got it to Hawkins. Hawkins cuts inside. Mid-range jump shot is butter. So the Golden Eagles back off, taking a three-pointer right there. The lost art of the mid-range jump shot. St. Joseph's Long Island goes up 8. Graham now leaves it with Egan. Egan now kicks it across the floor. It's Rivera operating on the wing furthest from your screen. Now Graham fires a three-pointer from the corner. It's good. A big shot there for Mount St. Mary to stop the bleeding. That snaps the Golden Eagles' 8-0 run. Now Somerville gives it back to Maxwell, who gives it back to Somerville. Matthew Walsh in the vicinity. Now using a screen is Somerville. Now gives it to Esposito from the corner is good. AJ Esposito from around 10 feet, his second mid-range basket of the game. Golden Eagles go back up 7. Rivera uses the screen from Gemmel, works it into the corner, now runs the baseline. Good job keeping that ball in play. Graham will fire another three-pointer. That one won't go. Esposito grabs that rebound over Somerville. J.P. Egan knocked it out. The Golden Eagles managed to retain possession. Now the ball left with Somerville on the ground, takes a step to his right, fires that one off the glass. That one won't go. A.J. Esposito, nice rebound, goes up and under and finishes. Beautiful second chance points from A.J. Esposito. The difficult finish has the Golden Eagles now up 9. The largest lead of the night for either side as there is a foul. This one going against Somerville. As a trio of subs comes in, coming in for the visiting side, Jaden Gaston back in. And it is Rob Germino and Matt Monaco in for the boys in white. 8:32 left to go here in this first half. Walsh thought about it, has to get it in. Bounce pass for Graham. Graham operating out of the C and MSMC now cuts to his right. Leaves it with Justin Rivera. Rivera now left it with Monaco. A.J. Esposito right there around the perimeter. Now the ball with Walsh on the wing. Back up top for Monaco. Takes a dribble to his right. Leaves it with Graham. Graham now cuts inside the three-point line. Kicks it into the wing for Rivera. Jump shot for the baseline. That one over everything. Rebounded by Gaston. Gaston now running the floor. Walsh right there in transition defense. Graham forced to pick up Gaston. Now falls off. Now guarding Somerville. Somerville into the corner. It's Gaston. Gaston back up top for Somerville. Graham right there on defense for Mount St. Mary. Gaston again guarded by Germino. Now for Anthony Todd, who gives it way the back up top. Now right underneath it's Todd. Todd left it for Gaston. He'll fire a three-pointer. 6 left on the 30. It's good. A big-time three-pointer there from Jaden Gaston. That snaps a streak of 4 straight missed three-pointers from the Golden Eagles. The first double-digit lead of the game for either side. Coach Gad Lebowski takes a timeout. And so, ladies and gentlemen, 7:47 left to go in this first half. The Golden Eagles 26, the Knights 14. We'll be right back. So the buzzer sounds. The Knights have retaken the court. The Golden Eagles soon to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kaplan Center. I am Lucas Stackpole. If you're just now joining us, 7:47 left to go in this first half. St. Joseph's leads Mount St. Mary by a score of 26-14. The score at one point was 11-11. A 15-3 run currently for the Golden Eagles. As the bounce pass goes to Monaco. Monaco kicks it back up top for Rivera. Now into the corner for Graham. Germino shot fake, gets past Todd. Now sidesteps towards the elbow, fires and got it. A nice mid-range jump shot from Rob Germino. A much-needed basket there for the home side. Kenny Rodriguez back across the floor for Matthew Maxwell. Maxwell picked up by Walsh, gives it back outside for Rodriguez. Rodriguez now back up top for Tony Todd. Gives it now down to Jaden Gaston. Gaston across the floor for the wing. Rodriguez fires a 3. That one takes a bounce. Can't get it to go. Esposito right there for the Golden Eagles. Second chance basket. Got it to go. A.J. Esposito, 5 rebounds so far. The ball goes to Monaco, gives it to Rivera. Now it's Germino, left it with Graham. Graham uses his left, bounces back outside the three-point line. Monaco kicks it to Rivera. Now Rivera runs the baseline, stops, spins. Now to the top of the key, it's Germino. Tried to work it back underneath for Monaco. That pass a little too errant. Now Rodriguez running the floor. Jeremino got a hand on it. That one won't go. Right there for the second chance basket again is Matthew Maxwell. And the Golden Eagles continue to excel on the offensive glass. Walsh uses his left, got it to Graham. Graham gives it back to Monaco, who gives it back to Walsh. Walsh takes a cut inside, gives it to Graham, now swings it to Monaco, top of the key. Three-pointer, that one won't go, rebounded by Gaston. Gaston will bring it down, cut past half court. Now cut inside, left it with Kenny Rodriguez. Rodriguez takes a step inside the perimeter, now right underneath for Esposito, up and in. Coach Uhl very pleased. He stressed during a timeout early in the game how important it would be for the Golden Eagles to get the ball underneath. And having a center that is 6'7", that is a luxury at this level of basketball, and they have fed Esposito accordingly, and now the scoreboard reflects that. Jeremino takes a shot falling away. That one won't go. Rebounded by Kenny Rodriguez. Now left it with Maxwell. Graham picks up Maxwell in transition, forced to retreat back outside the three-point line. The ball now into the corner. It's Gaston who gives it now to Rodriguez, who gives it to Todd. Todd tried to force it inside, getting a hand on it is Walsh. Walsh on the steal. Dives. Now it's Rivera to the basket. Got it to go. Nicely done from the home side to turn some defense into offense. Your score now 32-18. Rodriguez up ahead. Gaston for three in transition. That one will go off the back iron. Right there is Maxwell. Another offensive rebound. Maxwell leaves it with Todd, who got it to Esposito right around the elbow. Esposito is getting bodied underneath. Gaston fires a three, won't go, takes a fall. A bit of an acting job there from Gaston. The three-pointer won't go. Mount St. Mary comes down with the rebound. Under the 5-minute mark here in this first half. Again, your score 32-18. Jeremino lines one up from mid-range. That one won't go. Rodriguez snatches it out of the air and leads the charge in the opposite direction. Rodriguez leaves it with Maxwell, who gives it back to Rodriguez. Now both sides take a bit of time to set up. The pass deflected by Graham. It'll go out of play. As Tayshawn Hawkins comes back in for the visitors, Liam Lynch, J.P. Egan, and Anthony Marziotti all check back in for the home side. So the Candyman, Anthony Todd on the inbound. Gets it up top to Hawkins, now leaves it with Gaston. Now back up top for Hawkins. Lynch right there on defense for the mount. Ball goes into the corner for Kenny Rodriguez. Goes right underneath for A.J. Esposito, and he continues to feast in the paint. The Golden Eagles have backed off a little bit on their aggressive full court press. Now it is Lynch right at the block. Now stops, spins, kicks it back outside, and Jeremino fires. This will be a three if it goes. Won't go. Gemmel got a hand on it. That ball ends up on the Golden Eagle bench, last touched by a Knight. As the buzzer sounds, we have a brief stoppage so Jaden Gaston can tie his shoe. No substitution for either side. Actually, no, there is a substitution. Fresh in for Mount St. Mary, number 34, Matthew Shapunas. The Knights just looking for some size down low. Anything to combat the 6'7" Jaden Gaston, or sorry, the 6'7" AJ Esposito. Now Hawkins kicks it back across the floor, all the way across to the opposite wing. Now back up top for Rodriguez. Rodriguez guarded by Marziotti. Shapunas right there in the paint. Up and over goes Rodriguez. Can't get it to fall. Esposito juggled with the ball a little bit after the rebound. Couldn't get it to go. And Mount St. Mary gets to keep it. So Marziotti on the inbound. He'll get it to Lynch. Waiting for him is Jaden Gaston. Lynch uses the screen from Gemmel, now cuts inside. Thought about going right at the basket, spins, falls away, fires, takes a couple of bounces, won't go. Esposito the rebound, that's his sixth. As it's now Tayshawn Hawkins right there waiting for him, J.P. Egan. Hawkins puts it on the ground, now swings it to Esposito. Ball goes back to Hawkins, now Gaston fires away. No good, off the back iron. Leaping is Rodriguez, coming down with it is Liam Lynch. Mount St. Mary, nicely done there, preventing any second chance baskets. Now it's Egan, thought about it, stops it around the elbow, leaves it with Marziotti, got it to Gemmel. He'll fire a three. No good. Esposito grabs it right there, Shapunas, and he'll force a jump ball. So Coach Kadlubowski calls on his 6'8" freshman just for some size. And Shapunas answers the call, forcing a jump ball with Esposito, who really has had his way all game. 6 of 9 from the field, sitting at 12 points, 6 rebounds. So he, as of right now, is well on his way to a double-double. The inbound goes up top for Anthony Marziotti. Connor Gemmel right there on the elbow. Ball goes underneath for Egan, off the glass and in. Simple yet effective from Mount St. Mary. Another 2 points for the home side. Josh Ramos into the game for the Golden Eagles. His first appearance tonight. Hawkins works it up ahead for Todd. Ball goes back to Hawkins. Now it goes back to Todd. Todd in the paint. Good move on Gemmel. That shot blocked underneath. Somehow coming down with it is Hawkins. Now he ends up on the ground. I assume this will be another jump ball. It will. The Mount St. Mary bench fired up. We'll see who the favorite son of the possession arrow is this time around. It will be someone after the floor is clean. Making sure the hardwood is safe to play on before we proceed. It'll be Matthew Maxwell of the Golden Eagles taking the inbound. 31-20 your score. 2:40 left to go on the game clock. Now I believe this is a whistle, and it would be a 5-second violation on Maxwell. But the referees immediately stop to talk things over. I'm not sure if that'll stand. Both sides fired up for one reason or another. The referees will take this one to the booth, I think. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the referees will take a look at the call on the floor to make sure they got it right. And so, with that, with 2:40 left to go in this first half, we will be right back. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I conferred with my folks down at the scorer's table. The referees were checking to see if it was a common or flagrant foul on the floor. The ruling appears to just be a standard common foul. And so we are back to our game action. That one goes out of play. Last touch by a night. A trio of substitutions for the home side is 1, 2, and 3. For Mount St. Mary, I'll come back in. 2:37 left to go, 12 left on the 30 for the Golden Eagles. The inbound goes to Josh Ramos. Now kicks it to Hawkins. Hawkins a shot fake, tries to get it underneath Rodriguez. Beautiful pass behind the back. Got it to A.J. Esposito. Esposito, 70% from the field tonight. He's at 14. As Egan leaves it on the ground, got it to Justin Rivera, guarded tightly by Josh Ramos. Ball goes up top. Matthew Walsh fires a three. It's good. Matthew Walsh, a big-time shot there. Mount St. Mary looking right now just to do anything to stop the bleeding. The game at one point was tied at 11. Since that particular moment in time, the Golden Eagles have gone on a 25-12 run. As Mount St. Mary, nicely done, forcing a turnover. So the Knights looking to put one foot in front of the other as the half draws to a close. We've dipped under the 2-minute mark. Setting a screen is Egan, past half court is Rivera. The ball goes to Egan, now kicks it for Walsh. He'll try another three. That one is good. Matthew Walsh, back-to-back three-pointers. And Tayshawn Hawkins says, yeah, that's on me. To quote the great Chris Smoove, hand down, man down. And the Knights are back within 10. Ramos fires for Hawkins. Hawkins a three. That one won't go off the back iron. Rebounded by Graham, and Mount St. Mary on pace for a really good finish to the half. Walsh has made the last 2 3-pointers he's taken. Now runs the baseline, kicks it up top for Graham. Graham for Rivera. Extra pass for Gemmel. The mid-range jump shot won't go. That one over everything, off the hand of Egan, out of play, but this will stick with Mount St. Mary. And so the Knights now, with a minute 16, have picked up some momentum. Down at 10, but in basketball, 10 points is nothing. Basketball is such a momentum-based sport that 10, 15, 20-point leads can disappear in a matter of seconds as Egan takes the extra step, trying to get a good look for 3. The referee is not fooled. And so an underwhelming finish to a promising possession for the home side. The inbound now goes to Maxwell. Right there is Matthew Walsh. Walsh gives it. Now it is back to Maxwell. Now for Tayshawn Hawkins. Hawkins guarded by Rivera, uses his right. That pass picked off by Graham. Graham now gives it up ahead to Egan. Egan for Walsh. Walsh gives it back to Egan. Egan doubled, forced to give it up, gives it to Rivera. Cuts inside, now gives it to Gemmel, his 3-pointer. A little too strong off the back iron. Rivera right there on defense. Got Hawkins and Rodriguez to both jump, goes up with it, gets fouled. And so excellent work there for the Mount St. Mary senior in conference play, averaging 11.1 points a game. He leads Mount St. Mary in scoring in both only conference games and all games. He's started and appeared in all 17 games this season for the home side. 2 big shots coming here for the senior, 67% from the free throw line. That one left well short. As Shapunis checks back in, Mount St. Mary just looking for size should Rivera miss this second free throw. And so Shapunis has been Coach Kadlubowski's answer to the Golden Eagles, A.J. Esposito, as Rivera's second free throw is good. Mount St. Mary back within single digits. 44.4 seconds to go. As now it is Maxwell past half court working on Graham. Left it with Kabelka. Kabelka up top for Hawkins. Hawkins ball fake, now got it to Maxwell. Maxwell guarded by Rivera and Walsh both. Hawkins left open. He fires and hits. Tayshawn Hawkins, a 3-pointer. That will likely be the Golden Eagles' last possession of the half. And they make it count. 39-27 your score. 16 seconds on the game clock. The shot clock, of course, turned off. Kabelka right there guarding Rivera. Now makes a move with 10. Rivera now using his right, thought about it. Now kicks it underneath for Gemmel. Working on Tony Todd. High off the glass, couldn't get it to go. Hawkins has 2 seconds to shoot, loses the ball, won't be able to get a shot off. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is how your first half ends here on Alumni Appreciation Day in Kaplan. Your score at halftime, the Golden Eagles 39, the Knights 27. As always, I am Lucas Stackpole, and we'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half. And so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kaplan Center. I am Lucas Stackpole. Fresh off of halftime, your score right now, the St. Joseph's Long Island Golden Eagles 39, the Mount St. Mary Knights 27. And the Golden Eagles, the game at one point was tied 11-11. You can pinpoint that moment as the moment exactly when the Golden Eagles really started taking off, pun fully intended, as both parties are put where they need to be on the floor. And now the inbound will go to Graham. Graham got it to Rivera, and we are underway. So, back underway for the second half. Justin Rivera now got it to Brendan Graham. He's guarded tightly by Eric Kabelka. The ball goes back up top for Connor Gemmel. Gemmel now kicks it into the corner. Waiting there is Brendan Graham. Graham guarded tightly by Kabelka. Right there, waiting for a screen is Gemmel. Graham now finally uses it, turns around, fires a three-pointer off of it. Look out below. Rivera somehow comes down with it, throws it off of Gaston, who was on the ground. A great heads-up play there from the Mount St. Mary senior, and the Knights get to keep the ball. Graham now on the inbound. Mount St. Mary has 6 seconds to shoot. Ball goes to Rivera. Now up top for Egan. 4 seconds to shoot. Walsh fires away. Has to get one off. That one, another air ball. And an unfortunate start to the second half for Mount St. Mary. 2 3-pointers. And not once did the ball hit the rim. And so now the Golden Eagles look to take advantage of some of these offensive miscues. Anthony Todd back out on the floor. Kabelka now gives it up top for Hawkins. Hawkins to Gaston. Gaston guarded by Rivera, takes a dribble to his right, leaves it with Kabelka, stops it around the free throw line, back up top for Gaston. Now into the corner, Hawkins a three-pointer, it's good. It rims in and out, but Hawkins with the shooter's touch. And the Golden Eagles back up 15. So the Golden Eagles have done an excellent job moving the ball around. Rivera takes a step to the side. Thought about it. Now the ball with Graham into the far corner. Graham gives it back up top for Gemmel. He'll fire what would be a two-pointer. Had his foot on the line. Gaston keeps it alive. Up and over everything. Got it to his man, Todd. Now Todd will leave it for Hawkins. Hawkins cuts inside and around the elbow. Tried to get it into the corner for Kabelka. Kabelka somehow comes down with it. Walsh and Graham, they're on tight defense. Matthew Walsh rips it right away. And Walsh providing some muscle on defense for the home side. That's a turnover. Graham tried to leave it for Egan. Egan just wasn't there. And now it's Hawkins and Kabelka in a 2-on-1 for the Golden Eagles. Hawkins lost it off of his thigh. And so a couple of messy possessions to open the second half for both sides. So there was a brief whistle, just making sure everybody was okay, I believe. Now it is Walsh bringing the ball up the floor. Waiting for him is Tayshawn Hawkins. Now Walsh will leave it with Graham. Kabelka there on defense. Walsh into the corner. Good look for three. It's good. Matthew Walsh with a big triple there, his third of the contest. He's now 3 or 5 from downtown. Gaston goes right past Walsh. Gives it to Todd. Todd guarded by Rivera. Hawkins now gives it to Gaston. Gaston takes a couple of dribbles, gives it to Kabelka. Right there on defense is Rivera. Kabelka uses his right, cuts inside. Esposito in the corner, back up top. Hawkins gives it to Gaston. And Gemmel runs into Gaston. A physical play there in the corner. I don't doubt that was unintentional. Gemmel extends an olive branch. And all's well that ends well. Your score, 42-20 in favor of the visitors. Gaston will have an inbound just to our left of the basket. The foul, of course, going against Gemmel. As Gaston looks for the open man, has to get one off, cuts it close to the 5-second, got it to Esposito underneath. Getting a hand on it was Egan, so nicely done on defense for Mount St. Mary, but the Golden Eagles will get to try this inbound play again. The offense so far for the Golden Eagles has centered around A.J. Esposito. He has been doing it all in the paint. He has 14 points on 70% shooting. And I assume they're just going to keep feeding him because, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As Hawkins stops it right around the elbow, gives it right underneath to Esposito, working on Gemmel and Egan both. A lot of contact underneath. Gemmel with the block, no foul. And Mount St. Mary, an excellent stop there on the interior. Walsh now kicks it back up top for Egan. Egan will leave it for Rivera, setting a screen on Kabelka. Now Rivera fires a three. That one is good. I was worried that Rivera waited a half second too long, but uses the screen from Egan perfectly. And Mount St. Mary has cut the deficit back down to 9. And so the recipe to success for Mount St. Mary, or at least the recipe to stop the bleeding, is find a way to contain A.J. Esposito underneath. 14 points on 70% shooting is going up and under as Todd can't get it to go. Egan and Gemmel both there. They both lose it. Now the ball goes to Esposito underneath. A dogfight for the ball underneath the basket. Esposito was not happy. But there will be a foul underneath. This will be a foul on the ground. Gemmel picks up another one. Now Kenny Rodriguez. And Mount St. Mary right now just doing anything they can to stop A.J. Esposito. Use of force apparently authorized. And so Esposito will come off. Kenny Rodriguez comes on. So Esposito will get a chance to cool off, and the Golden Eagles will get a chance to build on this 9-point lead. Rodriguez now got it to Kabelka, and now Kabelka whistled for a travel. Mount St. Mary forcing a turnover. So the Knights have managed to stick their foot in the door in the opening in this second half. 16:44 to play. Mount St. Mary currently riding a 6-0 run, and they have possession of the ball. Rivera uses a screen from Jeremino, now gives it to Jeremino, who gives it up for Walsh. Jeremino sets a screen, ball goes underneath to Jeremino. It was deflected on the way there. This one last touched by a Golden Eagle. And so it will be Matthew Walsh on the inbound. Mount St. Mary will have 20 seconds to work with. Walsh goes back outside the three-point line. Jeremino catch and shoot, that one short. A leaping effort from Anthony Todd to bring that one out of the air. Now the ball swung up ahead for Kabelka. Kabelka into the corner. Gaston over 2 people. He got it. Jaden Gaston, a big-time triple. Made that one look easy. And the Golden Eagles back up 12. Rivera trying to answer with a three-pointer of his own. That one takes a couple of bounces, won't go. Hawkins snatches that one out of the air. Hawkins gives it back to Rodriguez. We'll see if the Golden Eagles can go on a run of their own. Hawkins, good look, top of the key, fires and hits. That is a 35% clip from downtown for the Golden Eagles. And ladies and gentlemen, that will most certainly play. With 16 minutes to go here in this second half, Coach Kadlubowski takes his first time out of the half. And so, ladies and gentlemen, your score ahead of this brief intermission, the Golden Eagles 48 and the Knights 33. So the Golden Eagles fresh out of the huddle, so are the Mount St. Mary Knights. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kaplan Center on this wonderful Alumni Appreciation Day. The Golden Eagles currently holding a 15-point lead. Both teams have shot the ball well out of the break, 4 minutes in. And both sides have just started to shoot the lights out to open this half. We'll see if it keeps up for either side. The Golden Eagles 8 of 21. Mount St. Mary right now an unassuming 6 of 23, but the last couple have come in rapid succession. And we'll see if Mount St. Mary can manage to get their foot back in the door. The deficit was cut to as close as 9, and it has ballooned to as many as 15. Mount St. Mary down, but certainly not out, and of course plenty of time left in this one as Jeremino catches it top of the key, now goes inside. Good look, leaves that one a little bit short. Ball caroms to Walsh in the corner, he fires and hits. And so right on cue, a big-time three-pointer from the home side. And the deficit back down to 12. Now Rodriguez guarded by Lynch and Walsh both. I believe this is either a foul or a jump ball as Rodriguez ends up on the ground. This game has been incredibly physical underneath. Of course, nothing right now with malicious intent, as the referees confirm the call on the floor is a jump ball. And so basketball is a physical game. Basketball should absolutely be a physical game, and this game, again, has offered no shortage of physicality. It's just the right amount of physicality as Kabelka has it along the wing, bounces it underneath for Todd. Todd double team, getting a hand on it. Graham playing tight defense, Matt Walsh. Ball goes underneath, got it to go for Kenny Rodriguez. And so the Golden Eagles answer with a nifty basket underneath. They continue to look good on the interiors. Graham has that one poked away. He wisely just lets it go out of play along the sideline. Matthew Maxwell, the senior, pleased with his defensive effort, and rightfully so. Graham now on the inbound as Coach Uhl and the referee in front of the scorer's table exchange words about whatever your mind would like to imagine it being about, maybe candles or dinner plans. As now goes up underneath for Lynch, can't get it to go. Did a wonderful job creating a path to the basket, as Liam Lynch does so well, just could not get the basket to fall. Anyhow, Lynch does draw the foul. This one a foul on the floor. So Mount St. Mary will get a new 20 seconds to play with. The ball goes up top for Monaco at around the elbow. Germino at the opposite elbow kicks it to Walsh. He fires for three. That one a little too strong. Maxwell brings that one out of the air, kicked all the way up ahead for Rodriguez, guarded tightly by Germino. Now kicks it for for Hawkins. Now back for Tayshawn Hawkins. Not to be confused with NBA player Tayshawn Prince. As now it's Kabelka from the corner. That one won't go. Takes a bounce off the front line. A good look for Kabelka. Just couldn't quite get it to fall. And now it is Graham, met at half court by Maxwell. He'll kick it to Germino. Now kicks it to Walsh. Walsh guarded by Rodriguez. Rodriguez not giving an inch. Walsh gives it up top. Monaco, wide open look for three. That one off the mark. Todd on the rebound. Todd gives it up ahead for Hawkins. He's met at the three-point line by Walsh. Hawkins picks up his dribble, kicks it to Maxwell. Into the corner for Rodriguez. Now underneath for Todd. Todd back up top for Rodriguez. Now got it to Maxwell. Maxwell using his left, spins, working it around the free throw line. Kicks it towards the far wing. Got it to Hawkins. Now it is Todd guarded by Germino. Germino whistled for a foul. Mount St. Mary's number 12 not pleased. This one setting up a play under the basket for the Golden Eagles. And unfortunately for Mount St. Mary, the Golden Eagles now get an extra 10 seconds on the shot clock. Goes from 10 to 20 with the foul on the floor. And now Rodriguez with a shot fake, working on Egan. Now cuts inside, goes right at the block, through three people. A tough basket there. Coach Kadlubowski sees no choice but to take a timeout. And so with 13:49 to go, your score, the Golden Eagles 52, the Knights 36. We will be back right after this. So the buzzer sounds, the Golden Eagles out of the huddle. The Knights sure soon to follow. Right now there are only 4 Golden Eagles on the floor. Hawkins the 5th. No apparent substitutions for either side. Actually, Corey Somerville, back in for St. Joseph's Long Island. AC/DC ushers us in from that timeout. Graham, the inbound goes to Germino. Ball goes back to Graham. Somerville full court pressing Brendan Graham. Graham now gets past half court without too much difficulty. Setting a screen is Germino. Getting the ball is Germino. He'll kick it to Lynch. Lynch guarded by Maxwell. Germino setting a screen. He'll bounce off of it. Lynch forced to pick up his dribble. Got it to Monaco. Monaco gives it to Egan. Egan guarded tightly by Rodriguez. Rodriguez again, just a relentless defender. Germino pulls up. The long three-pointer is good. Rob Germino from well outside. The lead trimmed to 13, but Mount St. Mary continues to shoot the ball well in the second half. Somerville guarded by Graham. He'll go right past Graham. Egan there on the help defense. The ball goes back outside the three-point line for Maxwell. He'll get it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez guarded by Monaco. He'll kick it back up top for Maxwell. Egan right there on defense. Now Maxwell pull-up jump shot, takes a bounce off the front rim. Emphatic rebound from Jeremino. He'll kick it to Graham. And Mount St. Mary, the possession begins anew. Graham kicks it across the floor. It's Egan on the wing closest to your screen. Fakes the give to Lynch. Now fires from mid-range, and it's good. Egan, the mid-range jump shot. Mount St. Mary has scored the last 5. The ball now goes to Hawkins. Hawkins gives it to Maxwell. Maxwell operating towards the top of the key. Lynch acts like he's playing defense, now backs off. Now ball goes into the corner. Hawkins guarded tightly by Jeremino. He's forced to kick it back outside. Now it's Somerville cutting inside. The emphatic pass for Todd. That one goes out of play, untouched. Somerville doing his best major league pitcher impression. That was a pass that needed to have some velocity on it to get to Todd, but a little too much mustard on that one from Somerville to go out of play. So now Graham gets it into Lynch. The lead still 11. Lynch guarded by fellow number 0, Matthew Maxwell. Now Lynch kicks it up top. It's Egan working against Gaston. Now Graham with a shot fake, got Somerville to jump. Now Graham calls for an ISO. Now ball kicked back towards the top of the wing. Egan fires a three-pointer over Gaston. He got it. J.P. Egan with a hand in his face. Mount St. Mary has cut the lead to 8. They've scored the last 7. The ball goes to Somerville. Now back up top for Maxwell. Maxwell underneath for A.J. Esposito, who has checked back in. Gaston now for Somerville. Back for Gaston. Into the corner for Maxwell. Monaco on the closeout. The ball left for Esposito, and the floater is good. A.J. Esposito now up to 16. His 8th made field goal of the game, 8 for 12. And he continues to dominate. He was pulled earlier in the half, likely just to keep track of his fouls. But the offense has run through Esposito all game, and the Golden Eagles have made that work as Graham pulls up from mid-range. That shot high off the back iron settles on the top of the backboard. The whistle finally blown as, of course, the top of the backboard is out of play. And so now the Golden Eagles have all 4 members in the half-court set. The inbounder will be Rodriguez. The ball goes to Maxwell, now gives it back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez will kick it for Somerville. Somerville stops on a dime. Good look for Maxwell. He'll set up for 3. It's good. Matthew Maxwell, a wide open look from the wing, and he makes it count. The Golden Eagles, just like that, back up 13. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to make a point earlier about how basketball is such a momentum-based sport. The lead was 15. Mount St. Mary cut the lead to 8. And you blink, and now the Golden Eagles back up 5. It's an excellent job there from Somerville at the block, drawing a charge. Nicely done there from the sophomore to get his feet set, force the offensive foul. And now the momentum pendulum has swung towards the Golden Eagles. As now Rodriguez right along the baseline. The inbound goes to Somerville. Graham and Walsh both in the vicinity. Beautiful bounce pass from Somerville. Fit that one in a tight window. And now it's Rodriguez back up top for Somerville. The closeout from Walsh. Somerville right at the basket. Leaves it underneath for Esposito, who finishes through the contact. A.J. Esposito continues to dominate the paint. Now up to 18. As it's Egan at the top of the key. Kicks it towards the corner. It's Walsh, guarded tightly by Maxwell. Walsh uses a dribble, works to his left, tries to go at the basket, lost the ball, picks it right back up. Egan, the easiest 2 points of his collegiate career. And Mount St. Mary gets a much-needed basket of their own. Gaston swings it all the way across the floor for Somerville. He'll get past Walsh. Now kicks it to Gaston. Three-pointer in transition is good. Jaden Gaston, the triple. The Golden Eagles now 10 of 23 from beyond the arc. Now Egan kicks it to Walsh along the wing. Egan sets a screen. Walsh gives it up to Graham. Graham guarded by Gaston gets rid of it. Jeremino got Rodriguez to jump. Now goes inside the paint. Goes right at Esposito. A beautiful finish there from Rob Jeremino, and Coach Kadlubowski will take a timeout. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've dipped under the halfway point in this second half. 9:37 separate us and the finish line here this afternoon. The Golden Eagles 62, the Knights 48, and we will be right back. Mount St. Mary out of the huddle. The second buzzer sounds. The Golden Eagles soon to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the timeout. I'm Lucas Stackpole. The Golden Eagles lead the Knights 62-48. And it has been a back-and-forth second half. It feels like both teams have just traded 6-0 runs the entirety of the half. And that trend has kept up for a little over 10 minutes. Is now Rodriguez on the inbound. He'll give it to Gaston, waiting for him, Matthew Walsh. The ball swung back across the floor for Somerville. And now the Golden Eagles past half court. Gaston gives it to Maxwell. Maxwell into the corner for Somerville. Walsh right there on the closeout. Ball goes back up top for Maxwell. Stops it around the elbow. Now sets up a mid-range jump shot. Rims in and out, getting a hand on it. Holmbo. But they will say this one was knocked out of play by a Golden Eagle. Esposito right there under the basket. And so Mount St. Mary will keep the ball. Maxwell and Gaston lightly monitoring the ball. Now Graham gets it past half court with ease. Setting a screen was Holmbo. Now ball goes up top for Egan. He got a hand on it. Now corrals it, working on Kenny Rodriguez. Egan goes right at the block. Looked like he lost his footing there at the end. That shot left well short, and it'll go out of play on the rebound attempt. And so now it is the Golden Eagles with the ball. Kenny Rodriguez, the inbounder. The inbound goes to Maxwell. Everyone else clears out. Maxwell swings it across the floor now for Somerville. Somerville back to Maxwell. Justin Rivera waiting for him. Now Somerville will kick it to Gaston. Back up to Somerville. Setting a screen, Esposito. Somerville goes right at the basket. Nifty move to go up and under. I'm surprised he got that shot off at all. That one won't go now. It's Graham. Graham up top. Egan fires away. That one won't go. Rebounded Rodriguez. Rodriguez in transition, now stops, waits for numbers, backs outside the three-point line, kicks it off to his right, got it to Gaston. Gaston now gives it to Somerville. Somerville back to Gaston, working on Walsh. Rivera nicely done on the help defense. He got hands on it, now runs into the speaker and trips out of play. Hopefully he's all right. So Rivera okay, thankfully, as Hawkins checks back in for the Golden Eagles. And now the Golden Eagles up 14. They have to feel pretty good about their chances. 8:20 left to play. 14, a solid deficit, but I've seen stranger things as Hawkins now fires that one left short. And he'll go right to the free throw line. So Tayshaun Hawkins, the second leading scorer on this Golden Eagles team through all 17 games the Golden Eagles have played this season, 14.5 points per game. He has started and appeared in all but one game this season. 69% shooter at the free throw line this year, 22 of 32. Looking for two big ones here with his guys up 14. Got it. The buzzer sounds. Connor Gemmel will come back in from Mount St. Mary. He comes on in relief of J.P. Egan, as Hawkins looks to go 2 for 2. So Hawkins makes them both count. The lead up to 16 now for the Golden Eagles. The inbound goes to Graham. Mount St. Mary running out of time to swing together one final solid piece of momentum. As now Rivera fires over three people. He got it. And the foul. A huge shot there from Justin Rivera. Definitely one for the highlight reel, and we'll see if he can make it the 4-point play. As Rob Jeremino checks in for Soren Holmbo. Holmbo fired up as he leaves the game. A big-time shot there from Rivera. And we'll see if Mount St. Mary can just feed off of that. What an impressive shot that was. Now Rivera completes the highlight reel play. The lead now down to 12. Rodriguez picks up the ball directly underneath the basket. Will kick it to Maxwell, who gives it right back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez operating out of the half-court set, now gives it to Maxwell, kicks it across the floor. It's Hawkins. Hawkins picked up by Walsh. Ball goes up and over the top right there. It's Esposito. Now back for Maxwell, who kicks it up top. Now Hawkins got Rivera to jump. Now fires over Gemmel. He got it. Huge three-pointer there And now the Golden Eagles back up 15. Graham stops inside the paint, kicks it outside. Walsh a three. That one short off the front rim. Esposito the rebound. Esposito now kicks it up ahead. It's Rodriguez. Rodriguez into the corner. Hawkins, Gaston from the wing. Fires, no good off the back iron. Long rebound corralled by Rodriguez. Right underneath for Esposito. Over Gerimino and one. AJ Esposito finally gets the call he's been looking for all game. Points number 19 and 20 are beauties. And now a chance for a three-point play. So Justin Rivera, the highlight reel-worthy four-point play. And then Tayshawn Hawkins with a three-pointer of his own, and then an A.J. Esposito chance for a three-point play has sucked the life out of the building. 7:14 left to go. A free throw here from Esposito. An 18-point lead would be the largest lead of the night. And he got it. 70-52 now your score. The Golden Eagles flexing their muscles here on offense. As now it is Walsh working on Maxwell. Ball goes up top for Gemmel. Gemmel immediately swings it for Graham. Graham fires a three. That one goes down. A nice answer there from Brendan Graham. Gaston kicks it up ahead. Hawkins makes the catch over the ref. Bounce pass goes to Gaston. Gaston on the ground, dribbling with his right. Ball fakes inside, now leaves it for Maxwell outside the three-point line. Hawkins fires away another one. That one short off the front rim. Long rebound by Gemmel. Gemmel leaves it with Rivera. Rivera runs the floor, now stops from the free throw line, pulls up, fires and hits. Justin Rivera, the pull-up mid-range jump shot. Truly a lost art in the game of modern basketball. The lead now down to 13. Hawkins now gives it to Maxwell, got it to Esposito, got it to Gaston. Ball goes all the way around the horn, back with Hawkins. Graham right there on defense for Mount St. Mary. The ball goes into the corner. Maxwell, Gerimino closes out. Now Gaston fires a long three-pointer. That one won't go. Hawkins over Graham, nearly rebounded it. It's Graham coming away with it for the home side. He'll stop and wisely wait for numbers. Gerimino, three-pointer in transition. It's good. Rob Gerimino a three. Mount St. Mary an 8-0 run. The deficit down to 10. Maxwell back for Gaston. Gaston now for Hawkins. Guarded by Gemmel. He'll work it underneath for Esposito. Esposito across the floor for Gaston. For Rodriguez. Maxwell a three. That one won't go. Rebound Gemmel. Gemmel got it to Graham. Graham past half court. Swings it up ahead for Gerimino. Gerimino for Gemmel. On the ground with his left. We'll kick it to Rivera. Rivera for Gemmel. Right at the block. Off the glass. Left it short. The fans wanted a foul. Can't believe they didn't get one. The referees have been letting them play all night. As now back up top, Esposito now for Maxwell, right around the free throw line. The floater, that one short. Esposito right there. That secures a double-double for the big fella. Points number 22 and 23. As Coach Kadlubowski takes a timeout, he'll plead his case to the referee. And so your score after an exciting couple of minutes. The Golden Eagles 72, the Knights 60, and we will be right back after this. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the Knights break the huddle. The Golden Eagles soon to follow. Welcome back to the Kaplan Center. As always, I am Lucas Stackpole. 5 minutes and 15 seconds separate us and the finish line here this afternoon. And ladies and gentlemen, if I had to describe this game in one sentence, this is the closest 10-point game I have ever seen. The Golden Eagles have been in the driver's seat for a good majority of the contest, but they have yet to finish the job, per se. Mount St. Mary always seems to find their way back into it. They've cut the deficit to as low as 7, and the deficit this half has been as high as 18. So the momentum shifts are as prominent as ever as that shot blocked by Rodriguez. Todd comes down with the rebound. Rivera, no choice but to foul. And an excellent defensive stop out of the timeout for St. Joseph's Long Island. This now the 7th Mount St. Mary foul of the half. This will put the Golden Eagles in the bonus, which is the worst possible scenario for Mount St. Mary. Now any foul on the floor, any foul of any manner, will send the Golden Eagles to the free throw line. And in a game where you're coming from behind, this is a luxury you cannot afford. So the Candyman, Tony Todd, 2 free throws coming up. Todd or 1 and 1 coming up, sorry. If you make the first, you earn the right to shoot a second. The first one goes down. Todd this season at 53% from the line. Todd's second, that one a little too strong. Nicely done by Walsh to corral the rebound. Todd goes right back to playing defense, working on Walsh, now backs off. Ball goes up ahead for Jeremino. And Jeremino will leave it for Egan. Egan takes a dribble to his right, now leaves it for Rivera. Rivera manages to corral it. He'll kick it for Graham. Egan from the baseline fires the mid-range jump shot. That one won't go. Esposito brings down a rebound. His 12th. Now it is Gaston. Gaston will leave it for Prince. Prince now for Rodriguez. Into the corner again, it's Gaston. Ball goes up top for Rodriguez. Walsh there on help defense. Rodriguez steps back, now gets the ball back from Esposito. He'll fire one over Egan. That one short. A foul underneath. This one going against, I believe it's Walsh. Esposito again not happy. The referees, for the most part, have been letting them play, which as a viewer is the most optimal experience. But as a player, it surely is not a nice feeling to take a beating underneath the basket every time you get the ball, which really for Mount St. Mary has been the only way to stop A.J. Esposito. 11 of 15 from the field. He'll head to the free throw line now. Esposito this season, 13.1 points a contest through 17 games. As that one is good. So again, Long Island in the bonus. Any foul will send them to the free throw line. If you make your first, you earn the right to shoot a second. And again, the Golden Eagles being in the bonus is a nightmare come true for Mount St. Mary. They're trying so hard to chip away at this deficit as that ball changes hands underneath the basket, and it'll be Golden Eagle ball. And so when it rains, it pours for Mount St. Mary. The Golden Eagles in the double bonus, they manage to get a miss at the free throw line and then can't corral the rebound. As now it is Walsh guarding Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes right at the basket. Got it to go like a hot knife through butter. The lead back up to 16 for the Golden Eagles. Rivera gives it to Graham. Graham shot fake, now gives it right back to Rivera. Rivera got hands on it, now corrals it. Ball kicked into the corner. Graham fires away over the closing out Esposito. That one rims in and out. Rodriguez on the rebound. Egan got a hand in there. Now kicked up ahead for Esposito. Graham ends up on top of Esposito, and another foul on the floor. And more free throws for the Golden Eagles. And so Mount St. Mary, it might be time to hit the big red button. A couple of fouls on the floor. A.J. Esposito, another trip to the free throw line. A couple of game minutes removed from his last trip. And so now Esposito shooting at 1 and 1. His first is good. He earns the right to take a second. And Esposito has just been the man of the hour all afternoon. 24 points so far tonight. Has been unstoppable underneath. 2 of 3 from the line today. Now 3 of 4. Graham on the inbound, the lead up to 18 for the Golden Eagles. That is their largest, that matches their largest lead of the afternoon. Walsh crosses over, working on Gaston, setting a screen, Jeremino. Jeremino now from the top of the key, the three-pointer, short off the front rim. Esposito grabs another rebound. Now Gaston up ahead, Rivera right there with him. Now Gaston stops, waits for numbers, cuts towards the opposite end of the court. Now gives it to Rodriguez. Rodriguez working on Jeremino. The ball goes across the floor for Hawkins. Fires a three-pointer over Graham and hits. Celebrates with his guys on the bench. And ladies and gentlemen, that one feels like the dagger. The Golden Eagles now up 21 as Rivera leaves it for Walsh. Walsh bounces off, now kicks it on a bounce pass for Rivera. Fires, that one misses everything. Egan right there on the rebound. Behind the back pass for Graham. That one fires for three. That one won't go again. And now the ball up ahead for Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes right at Walsh. Walsh takes that one away. All muscle from Matthew Walsh. An emphatic block there. Now it's Egan right underneath for Jeremino. That one rejected on the other end by Esposito. Esposito does get whistled for the foul. He'll wear a smile, but ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of defense, that was probably the best 10 seconds of your life. And it will be a shooting foul against Esposito, so Jeremino will shoot two. Jeremino tonight, 10 points on 4 of 11 shooting, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. Jeremino this season at the charity stripe, 20 of 26, a reliable 77%. And naturally, as soon as I say that, the first one doesn't go. And so the broadcast jinx in full effect. I will be dead silent for the second one. And if that is not concrete proof that the broadcaster jinx is a real thing, I don't know what to tell you. As now it's Todd up and over the top, gives it up for Tyler Cobb into the game for the first time tonight. Esposito off the glass and in, and he just continues to put the finishing touches on his masterpiece. He's up to 28. Now it's Graham. Graham working on Cobb, kicked outside the three-point line. It's Egan. He fires. Esposito another rebound. A foul on the floor. We'll see what the call is. This one, I believe against Esposito it is. As Zamir Gilbert checks in for the Golden Eagles, as does Chris Lawley. And number 4, Adam El-Jamali. And a full line change for Coach Kadlubowski and his guys. Matt Shapunas checks back into the game. Jorge Jimenez is in. Brody Shue, Anthony Marziotti, and Caleb Eller all back in. So Coach Kadlubowski dips into his bench unit for the last 2:19 of this one. And then inbound under the basket, Marziotti doing the honors. The buzzer sounds. Another substitution, this one, Josh Hayes. So both coaches taking advantage of their bench depth. Marziotti kicks into the corner. The play goes to Rivera. Rivera, the floater off the side of the backboard. Tough miss there. And now bringing the ball back up the floor is Lawley. Lawley met by Eller. The ball goes to Cobb along the wing. Now it is El-Jamali. Mid-range jump shot. That one goes down. Zamir Gilbert to a rousing ovation from his bench. The mid-range jump shot goes down. The lead swells to 24. Marziotti puts the moves on, uses the screen, fires a triple. He got it. Marziotti a triple. Jimenez almost forced a takeaway. Got a hand in there. Now Lawley bringing the ball up the floor with Marziotti. Now it is Eller. Cobb right there. Now swings it across the floor. Got it to El-Jamali. El-Jamali back for Cobb. Cobb into the corner for Lawley. Shue and Marziotti both there. Under 10 on the shot clock. Cobb right inside, up and under. That one left a little bit short. Gets his own rebound somehow. This one off the glass and in. Zamir Gilbert caught the rebound, falling away, gave it back to Cobb. Now ball all the way up the floor for Shue. Got it to go on the foul. And so an exciting last couple of minutes. And now more substitutions. Ra Thompson comes in, as does Jalad Shafir and Joseph Fernandez. And Gilad Shafir. And so now it'll be Brody Shue looking to complete his own three-point play. 87-66 your score. And now Shu. That one won't go. That one out of play. Last touched by Shapunas. Got a hand on it over Ra Thompson, it looks like. So now Fernandez on the inbound. Mount St. Mary in a full court press. The inbound goes to Shafir. Ball goes back now to Fernandez. Fernandez guarded by Eller. Now tries to get past Eller. Forced to swing it up ahead. Got it to El Jamali. El Jamali back up top for Fernandez. Right there is Eller. Swung across the floor for Shafir. Waiting for him is Jimenez. Shafir into the corner. Passes it. Tried to get it to Thompson. Eller on the steal. One-on-one down the stretch. Now stops, spins, kicks it across the floor for Marziotti. Fires a three over Fernandez. Rims in and out. That ball bounces right around the block. The big fella, Ra Thompson, bringing that one down for the Golden Eagles. That ball goes ahead to Josh Hayes. Milliseconds separating the shot and the game clock. The ball up ahead for Thompson. Thompson into the corner for Shafir. Shu overcommitted. Good look for Shafir in the corner. Can't get it to go. Marziotti can't bring down the rebound. This one out of play. Last touched by Josh Hayes under the basket. So Mount St. Mary will keep the ball. 17.3 left to go in this one, ladies and gentlemen. 87-66 your score. Shot clock, of course, turned off. The ball goes up ahead to Eller. Eller now on the ground, past his man, now goes right at the block. That shot rejected by Thompson. And now under the 10-second mark, going right at the basket is Fernandez. That one left well short as well. Shu finally breaks free. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how this one ends this afternoon. Your score here on Alumni Appreciation Day. The visitors, the St. Joseph's Long Island Golden Eagles, 87. Your Mount St. Mary Knights, 66. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for listening. Depending on where you are in the country, stay warm. Lord knows I'm not used to this weather either. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, your final score tonight. The Golden Eagles, 87. The Knights, 66. And I will see you all for the next one.